All right, welcome back once again. My name is TC Valdez, my co-host, Joe Ayala. We are Adelante Worldwide. Bienvenidos a toda la gente allá. I just want to, hey, if you guys haven't seen our last, what do you think about that last episode that we did?
Wonderful, I loved it.
It was nuts, it was off the hook. It was crazy.
Don't ever say that again.
If you haven't checked out our last episode, go to the page, check it out. So today, it's going to be a little different. We got 3 topics on hand, all kind of related a little bit, wouldn't you say?
I would say so.
First off,
it's so serious, TC has papers.
I have my references for facts. So first off, we're going to start off with the Dakota pipeline.
Dakota pipeline, I don't know what that is.
Okay, the Dakota pipeline. So it's a company they're starting out of North Dakota.
I thought it was like the Dakota Access Pipeline.
Yeah, Dakota Access Pipeline.
You had papers and you
Dakota
didn't have
Access Pipeline Project,
all right,
if you will.
Okay.
So according to DAPLPipelineFacts.com,
okay,
it's a 1,172 mile, 30-inch diameter pipeline.
Wow.
Yeah, huge.
Glad you
huge.
had that paper there for that.
That's right. It's supposed to transport approximately 470,000 barrels of oil
Okay,
per
so for
day.
people that don't know what the situation is, why don't we just go through
Okay, well, I think there's 2 situations here.
Okay.
What is going to be the main argument? Is it the fact that they're drilling for oil, or is it the fact that it's going over Indian territories and stuff, private land?
Did they get permission from the Indians?
Now, that's the other issue. Because one of these states that it did.
Which one?
But they didn't. That would be according to MotherJones.com. There's a timeline down here also.
While he looks for that, I will say that I don't think that they did ask for permission adequately. Otherwise, these people wouldn't be protesting.
February 17th, 2015, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, the USACE, sends a letter to the Tribal Historic Preservation Office initiating the permit process. Okay, in accordance to the National Historic Preservation Act, Section 106, of course, the Corps is required to consult with the interested tribes on the pipeline's potential impact. They requested a full archaeological.
That's why I don't bring papers, so I don't get stuck doing stuff like this.
Investigation. Now in September, from February to September, they sent another one saying they hadn't received a response from it.
So that doesn't mean proceed.
No.
Oh.
And then in December, the Standing Rock Corporation had indicated that the DAPL, the Dakota Access Pipeline, that the Lake Oahu site avoided impacts to tribally significant sites.
Okay, so stop. So what do you feel about the situation?
Well, it depends. Are we talking about, do I feel, is it okay to drill oil, or because of the impact on the reservations? Because there's 2 different things you can argue here. Now, as far as drilling oil, I don't feel bad. Because for every oil that we get, every barrel of oil that we get... Every barrel of oil that we get from the U.S., that just says that we don't have to have one from somewhere else. Now, it's kind of hard to say with, did they do this? Did they dot every I and cross every T? I don't know. No one really knows.
What do you think about the Native Americans saying that they went over burial grounds and dug up graves?
Yeah, now that was interesting because
what paper do you have?
Apparently, they said that they had written a letter asking about if it crossed anything. Now, apparently, at the last minute, for some reason, this burial ground came up and they demolished it. Now, how could they have done that if they knew the path? Why didn't they say that before?
So you think it's the Native Americans' fault?
I didn't say fault now. Now you're putting, it could be some miscommunication. I don't know.
So whose fault is that, though?
Why does it have to be somebody's fault? It could be an unfortunate.
What do you mean? Why does
accident.
it have to be somebody's fault?
It could have been an unfortunate accident.
So it was just a total misunderstanding, and that's your story.
No, I'm saying it's a possibility.
Well, it's no one's fault, but
it's a possibility that lines were crossed in communication.
So what do you feel should be done? You think they should go on with business as usual?
Well, that's funny you say that because so the Indians, they put in to the judge.
Native Americans?
Them too. They put in for the judge to make an injunction to have him stop. Okay, so they were going to do it over the weekend. So and that's when the protests got heated. I believe that was the time. Now, right after that,
Well, I
from
thought
what
you
I
said they
understand,
were all peaceful protests.
it got heated. Didn't not necessarily out of hand. It got heated. Right after that, the judge denied the Indians' request for the injunction. So, from what I understand, that means it proceeded on.
But then what happened?
But then, President Obama got involved and requested them to stop voluntarily, which basically means
until further notice.
Yeah, basically means you better
into it.
stop or we'll stop you because they brought in some National Guard stuff. Which, now, that could bring a whole other subject. Does the president have the right to get involved like that? Or is he just commander-in-chief of the military? You never know. That's a whole different issue.
So what do you think about the protests that have happened with this DAPL?
The DAPL. Well, the protests have been, I think they could have been misconstrued by the media.
I didn't even think the media covered much of it.
Well, and that's a good point. Some people say that the media didn't cover this because a lot of people, when we were talking about this, and I was talking about people that we were going to talk about it, that made sense.
I don't even know. I think I just got my green screen hat on after trying to think about that one.
When I was telling people this is what we were going to talk about, they didn't have a clue what was going on. Now, it's been brought up that the media has not given them attention because the protests, for the most part, have been peaceful and that there's no big deal.
I think it's been peaceful on one side, but the other side hasn't been peaceful the whole time.
Which side?
The DAPL had their dogs out, and that's when it got unpeaceful for a moment because they had the dogs sicked on the Native Americans.
I'm gonna go. I'm glad you brought that up. So there was a scene where they had their security, and I believe
And
it was
pepper spray,
security
yeah.
for DAPL. DAPL. Their security was kind of holding back the crowd. Now there was a lot of protesters there.
And this was about the burial ground, wasn't it?
I'm not sure where this one took place. The burial ground.
Well, you have 8 different pages
I
of
do.
information. You don't have any of that?
I do. These are facts. And so what happened was there was a scene that they were interviewing the Indians and they were saying, okay, yeah, we
Native
got
Americans.
sprayed, whatever. They got sprayed and the dogs, they sucked the dogs on us and everything. There was a video clip, and we're going to show this clip here, right up here, that one of the security had her dog.
We're not rolling it now?
It's rolling.
Okay.
And one of the dogs, it showed the dog lunging at some protesters. However, I'm just throwing this out there for food for thought. There was, in that particular scenario, there was one security guard and she was surrounded. We don't know what they were telling her. They could have been threatening her just the same.
That's true, but you don't know that either.
I don't know that. That's what I'm saying. So, but in the media, it's been kind of saying, oh yeah, they sick the dogs on us.
I really haven't
Why?
seen it in the media.
You haven't seen that?
No.
I read about it.
I've seen live video footage, but it wasn't from media. It was just from people videotaping themselves.
Well, yeah,
getting
you
attacked
saw it on
by
social
dogs.
media.
Yeah.
So it's media.
No, it's not media.
That's not media. Social media is not
It's
media.
not real media. No.
It's not real media.
No.
That's going to be for a whole different topic. So now, procedure-wise, yeah, they probably could have done it a little different as far as making sure the ink was dry and all this.
I would say so.
Now, interesting enough, I just saw this the other day. So these Indians were from North Dakota. However, there's been protesters coming all the way from Washington, New York, I mean, all across the states.
Native Americans.
Okay, them too. Now, it was even noted that tribes were coming together and uniting, which have historically fought each other. That was interesting to me.
Because they're united for one cause. To stop the Dakota Access Pipeline.
To stop it, right.
Yeah.
So now, do you think it's because of the way of life, or they just have a common enemy?
I think they have a common enemy. I think it goes two ways, too. I think the oil thing is one thing because pipelines, no matter where you go, you look up pipelines in your fact sheet there.
Yes.
And pipelines leak. All right, so
They can.
that's one problem. They do. It just happens.
Yeah, they
Either
can.
it's going to happen now or it's going to happen 20 years from now. They're going to leak. Another problem that they had was it was right under one of their main sources of water. All right, so you want clean water. You don't want a leaky pipeline underneath it. All right, so it's not saying it's going to leak tomorrow after they put it in, but it's possible it can
It's
leak
possible.
tomorrow.
And it's also possible that it maybe by learning from all these previous leaks, they put in new technology to prevent that even less. The chances could be less.
Yes. So what they're saying is, we want to keep our water and the earth fresh and,
Right.
like it was in the beginning. And they're also saying if you guys want to do stuff, go about it the right way. Ask our permission and get all this stuff done.
I think there's two issues though right there. I agree with the second part of your statement about procedure. Let's do it the right way.
Yes.
However, if they say, hey, don't dig a pipeline, we may not be able to progress.
No, you got wind, you got solar, you got
there's
all these other.
alternatives.
Yeah, you could progress the more safer route for our environment than a pipeline. That's like old school pipelines.
Old school stuff.
Old school stuff.
But they still use the oil for different things, not just gasoline. But again, every oil that we can come up with, every barrel of oil, that means we don't have to rely on other countries. We become more self-sufficient.
That's true.
So, it's a fine line right there.
Yeah. And every wind farm and every solar farm we build, we become more self-sufficient from oil.
It's right,
Huh?
right. But it's again,
Right. Well,
it's process.
that's our time. TC brought a lot of papers, didn't really say much. And I think we made a good first segment, and you guys could watch some videos and links on stuff that's going on. And
We'll put some links up here.
and we'll be back.
Standing at the construction site of the Dakota access pipeline, it looks like there are at least 3 bulldozers that are, to people's surprise at this moment, actually bulldozing the land. There's a helicopter above, there's security here, and hundreds of people have been marching up when they heard that the construction site is actually active right now.
All right, we're back.
All right,
That first topic, that a little rough, but that's all right, though. That's all right. That 10 minutes went fast. We only got 30 minutes for the show. However, before we start off on our second topic, I want to introduce the crew once again. Myself, TC Valdez, my co-host, Joe Ayala. Also, behind the camera, we have incorporated Jimmy Cordova. He's our visual man. And always on the soundboard is Mr. Daniel Trujillo. Low Life Danny Drinks.
Oh my God, he got the name right. I can't believe it.
I've only had one drink of me so
And
far.
some people say that Jimmy is also very good eye candy, so we're glad he's here. He can make me focus.
He can focus
direction.
on over there and look
Yeah.
at that. There is a lot of him to focus on. Skip there. So here at Adelante Worldwide, our main goal, I think you'll agree with me here,
Maybe.
is to throw out ideas, give people food for thought, and let them come up with their own opinion.
Yes.
And I throw out my opinion. I don't give a shit.
Please don't cuss.
Oh, okay.
That's my opinion.
That's your opinion?
Yeah.
That's right. You have the right to be wrong. I've heard that somewhere before.
A wise man says that.
So, our next topic in the Indian theme. Who?
Native Americans.
Native Americans.
Bringing it back local.
Yes, local. Yeah, we're pulling it all the way back to La Junta, Colorado today.
But it's also gotten some national attention.
Yes. Well, that's how it started. So, it is the Koshares. So, the Koshares started by Buckwheat back in 33, I believe.
And what is it?
That was the Boy Scouts started this.
Okay.
They wanted to.
Hold on.
Uh-oh.
We have technical difficulties.
Yes.
Yeah. Go ahead, keep going.
So the Boy Scouts started this group. They wanted to give tribute. They wanted to pay tribute to the local Indian tribes and their dances, their ceremonies, and everything like that. I believe their first dances started around 1950. Now, it wasn't until I think it was late 80s.
He's kind of confused. He don't have his papers.
I don't have
in
my
front of
papers
him.
here. I don't have my papers here. That a Hopi tribe from
Hopi?
Hopi.
Hopi?
No, Hopi.
Okay.
Did you say Hopi?
Hopi? Makes me happy to say
Yeah.
that.
That was pretty disrespectful of their name.
Go ahead.
you're mimicking and mock.
No, that would be the Koshares. But go ahead.
No. Anyway, so the Hopi Indians, they got upset because they were saying that the word got back to them that they were doing these dances.
Yes.
So they came up and they said, no, you're stealing our culture. You're stealing our heritage. You have no right to do that. You don't even know what it's about. Those gods belong to us. This and that.
Yeah, because it's like a religious thing to them.
Right. It's a religious thing to them. So in December of 2015,
Even the kiva itself.
the kiva, it's go ahead.
Is considered a place where only natives are allowed to enter, do their religious.
The word kiva
dances.
is a sacred place to them.
And the local Koshares here built a kiva.
They
as
built a
part of their-
building calling it a kiva.
Yes.
Yeah, not a kiva per se.
Per se, that's pretty close. But go ahead.
Okay, so
Our eye candy's back.
he's sitting right there. So the Indians got upset in December 2015. They actually wrote a letter, kind of like a cease and desist of putting on the show. And the local Koshares, they actually canceled their show,
Yes, they
their
did.
winter show.
However, I have read numerous reports that they still never answered the local, the Native Americans who sent them that letter. They just canceled the shows, and I think they're back on.
Are they?
Yeah.
I haven't heard that. Now, I do know that they wrote a letter, the New Mexico Hopi tribe wrote a letter to the local council asking for something, and they said that they never got back to them.
Yes.
So what's your take on it?
My take on it is I always liked the Koshari dances, but I never studied it. I never looked into it. I never, thought that there was any problem with it. But after reading numerous articles, so it's not just one article. I mean, if you go Google Koshari Indian controversy on Google, you will find multiple articles, all from
I have some
late
reference
last year into this year,
papers
that
if
you
you'd
can
like
put
to
up on
see.
the green screen.
I'll put them up right here.
But they're very unhappy with it, and they're saying that they never gave the authority to use these dances.
This is the other paper.
And once you start looking at it that way, it's a little bit different.
Oh, right here. Thank you.
I was just at Pedal the Plains here in Colorado, and it was put on by the governor and all that. The state of Colorado does this bike ride, but they had the Koshari Indians perform. And when I looked at them, I looked at it in a whole different way, and I'm like, this is actually pretty disrespectful.
You think it's disrespectful?
I do think it's disrespectful.
See, I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say if it wasn't for the Kosharis, I wouldn't have known about it.
But that would be your fault.
Sure.
Yeah.
For not look, but how do I
But
know?
who says it's up to them to preserve
preserve? No, you're
preserve
right.
that culture?
I'm going to take the other side of that. I'm going to say they took the initiative to say, hey, this is interesting. This is our local history. I want to show you.
No,
and in
no,
fact,
no
what I
one
like
asked
about
them
it,
to
what I
take
like
that
about
initiative.
it, nobody asked the teachers to teach about what they teach about either.
Yeah, but that's a whole different thing.
I think it's an excellent educational process, especially the dances, because that's actually teaching. I'm going to say like in 3D. You could read out of a textbook and you could see what happens there, but when you actually see what they do and how they do it, I think that's awesome.
I don't think you mess with people's religion and stuff like that. That's
We would never. Oh, no. You're saying mess with it. Now here's the deal.
But they're
Some
saying,
people
no,
say
stop,
they're
stop.
mocking.
They're saying we don't like it. We think it's mockery.
Yeah.
Please stop it.
Yeah.
And you're saying no, that's okay. If it wasn't for them doing it, we would never have it.
It's only there are tribes who say, I've read, that they like it because it's teaching the people, the non-natives,
Oh, now they're
about
natives?
the history. That was their quote, not mine.
I haven't seen those people. You have some of those people
I don't have
there
that right here.
because it's not true.
It's not true. Okay. No, but I like it's an educational. The Kiva, the museum, is all dedicated to Indian culture and heritage. Now, these people I've read where they say, "All right, it's up to us to do it. It's up to us to state our own culture and state our history." If it wasn't for the Kiva here, there's nobody doing it here.
Because they were almost extinct. They were on the verge
Exactly.
of being...
More of the reason to do it, to continue it.
They didn't become non-extinct because the Kiva did their shows. They were just strong as a people that kept persevering. It had
Right.
nothing to do with these guys taking their dances.
No.
And
I'm saying, but the Hopi tribes, every day that passes, they're closer to.
No, they're getting stronger than ever. If you start reading those articles instead of just glancing for headlines,
Glancing for headlines.
they'll tell you that
they're stronger than ever.
they're
So
stronger than ever. They
so
don't,
the
they-
Hopi
and they're
tribes are
tired of
actually
people,
growing.
and they're tired of people stealing their culture.
how is it stealing? Imitation doesn't mean mockery.
Well,
It's
have
not
you
even imitation.
Have you ever heard of blackface?
This has no comparison to blackface.
Have you seen the way they dress up?
I'll tell you why it has no comparison
Why?
to blackface. Because blackface is always meant to be derogatory. This has nothing to be
They're
derogatory.
telling you it's derogatory to them. That's what these articles are saying.
So
They're saying-
who would? So it's up to them to say, "Hey, I will let
don't
you
like
talk
it.
about it, but not you. But you could talk about it, but not you."
That's what What did I just tell you?
Blackface is not that. There's no comparison.
Why don't they do blackface anymore?
Nails. Huh?
Why don't they do blackface anymore?
Because blackface initially was saying, "Hey,
Everyone
it's
was happy.
derogatory."
Everyone was dancing. Everyone was having a good time. And then what happened? Black
It's
people
all,
said,
I've always
"This
no,
is
I've always
this is
I've
wrong."
always watched it as being derogatory.
I've always watched the Koshares as not being derogatory until I read these articles, and now I know it's derogatory.
I know. I think we're gonna have to disagree on this one.
That
So we're gonna leave it up to you, listeners. Now, which side do you take? Do you think it's bad? They're horrible people for doing what they did.
No one said they're horrible people. Even if you read one of
The
these
act.
articles, it says, I don't think you guys did this with unpure hearts, but it's still an unpure thing that you did.
Okay, so was their act horrible?
Was their act horrible? It's stealing, so it's not up to them.
Stealing, God, that's no. I wouldn't say stealing.
Those are sacred dances to these
That's
people.
like us talking about them now. Oh wait, we
No,
shouldn't.
we're not imitating a dance. We're not taking from them. We're discussing why they're mad at the people that are stealing from them.
So we're actually talking about their culture. We could be stealing it.
No, we're not
Right. See, you're right.
They are
We're
actually
not-
doing a dance. They're selling relics. They're doing all this stuff that is their culture. We're talking about the issue. We're not
Right.
stealing anything.
What about preserving?
If we would have did a
history?
prayer, Native American prayer, you got me all messed up. That would be stealing. This is not stealing.
I don't think it's stealing.
All right.
I don't think it's stealing. So it's up to you guys. I'd like to see some comments about this.
So we'll also
like
say
to-
this: on both issues, TC is against Native Americans, and he calls.
I'm against Native Americans now. My
All right.
God.
And we're
Let's
gonna
go
check out this video right now.
Right from what was it?
Martyr Thompson.
Martyr Thompson, edited by Daniel Lowlife, Danny Drinks. Right here. Hope you guys enjoy this one.
America the Beautiful.
It's the land of the free, home of the brave. Same place where they killed natives and traded slaves. What's a cop's main job out here? Protect us. Only if they don't kill you or have you arrested. Don't second guess them, courts corrupt as dictators, twisting the Constitution, abusing it in their favor. Politicians as puppets, someone mastered the strings to paint a picture, see the portrait depicting a savior. Plenty of racists, bigotry, sexist, the hatred could be so monstrous, the thought of it haunts us to face it. See the rockets, red glare, bombs bursting in air. Terrorists strike back, leave our flag set to flames. When did we lose ourselves, or where is a better question? I love this country, would die for it to prove my affection. But where do we draw the line when it clashes with our faith? In the land of the free, home of the brave.
Living in America, the beautiful. Do as they say, not as they do. Living in America, the beautiful. Where the eyes are watching you.
Listen, I've been thinking about the civilization, the matrix. It's just a visualization. Are we faithless? Such a visual nation. But they gon' see the truth one day, my brothers, be patient. Yeah, they gon' see the truth when they discover the ancient. We heaven's patriots, it's no allegiance to nations, no allegiance to flagrant paganism. Evil even when it seems it isn't, it's complicated. America look like a lamb and then it speak like a dragon. You don't know the half of that image, I can only imagine how the Lord is looking at us while we waving the flag. Evoke his name attached to the atrocious things in our past. See, with violence we approaching everything in our path. Is there a corner of this earth that hasn't tasted our wrath? And most can never see past the high standard of living. It doesn't mean that God God approves, it means the standards are different. America.
Living in America, the beautiful. Do as they say, not as they do. Living in America, the beautiful. Where the eyes are watching you.
And now we back to fish again. Help me spread the truth from Dakota up to Michigan. But man, here we go with this again. Everybody got ears, but ain't nobody listening. I supplement Christ for the stand packing. Then everybody's hopping off the bandwagon. If the man's slacking in the land or the fan yapping. And a brother lose fans cause the grand stacking. Cops, parishioners, rocks, and pop listeners. Drops and pops missing the ops. Glocks lifting up. Stop, listen, you lock. The plot thicken, you knock. The box hit you, bruh. That's how you go from Harley Sin to Harvey Dent. Harley Quinn, it's a bar repent. Why? You worshiping the man on the throne, he was slain. Just think about the stain on his clothes and forgive.
Living in America, the beautiful. Do as they say, not as they do. Living in America, the beautiful. Where the eyes are watching you.
This is a talk on national security, because the nub of the whole purpose of your president is to keep you now and your children later and your grandchildren much later out of a last-ditch war for the preservation of American independence. Never before, since Jamestown and Plymouth Rock, has our American civilization been in such danger as now. Never before, since Jamestown and Plymouth Rock, has our American civilization been in such danger as now.
We are back. Now that was Margaret Thompson. His CD party will be October 1st. Where?
7 p.m.
7 p.m.
at the City Church in Pueblo.
At the City Church in Pueblo.
I'm sorry for that. My good sir here was a little bit confused on that, but we're ready to go.
We're ready to go. Final topic for the day. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Final topic for today is Christopher Columbus. Now, some people say he discovered America. Some people say he didn't discover America.
Some people say, why do we have Columbus Day?
Why do we have Columbus Day?
It's disrespectful to Native Americans.
Why do you say it's disrespectful to
some people say
some
that.
people say.
Yeah.
Why would they say that?
They say that because since he landed, more Native Americans were slaughtered and killed and enslaved. And
like he came to do that.
Like he...
Horrible. Nope. I'm gonna disagree.
That's one of. I'm not saying that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that's what some people say.
Right,
Yeah.
right. When in actuality, everybody knows, and it's been proven fact, that he was not the first to land in the Americas.
Yes. That's what
There's been proof that in Canada, the Norseman Leif Erikson landed over there.
What movie was he in?
Leif Erikson?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think that was Leif Garrett. Never mind. Go ahead.
You're not even old enough to know Leif Garrett.
He was on VH1.
You saw that on VH1. Yeah. So what happened was Leif Erikson was he was one of the original Vikings.
Yes.
He landed up in Canada. The Native Americans that were there, didn't like it. He stayed there for, I think it was 10 years, and they shoot him off. Okay. He left.
But we're not talking about him today.
Nope.
We're talking about Christopher Columbus.
We're talking about Christopher Columbus.
Let's get back to topic. I don't believe there should be a Columbus Day.
No?
No.
Okay.
Not in North America, not in the United States.
They say, okay, now here's a misnomer. When people say he discovered America, they automatically assume they're talking about the United States of America as we know it now.
Which is where we have a holiday.
Which we celebrate it. There's a reason for that too, though.
Why?
Now, let me get there. So, where Christopher Columbus actually landed was around the Caribbean, or like you people say, the Caribbean.
What is you people? Are you making fun of Chicanos?
You're a Chicano this week?
Yes,
I'm proud of you. So, and
Indigenous.
so he landed around that area. The reason they say he discovered it was because he was the first to actually send back troops to come back and repopulate it. Now, Christopher Columbus was under the guise of Spain. Okay? So when he landed, they actually it's been said that he was the one who started or set in motion the whole Spanish taking over of the Indians of the area.
Okay, so what does that have to do with us celebrating Columbus Day?
Okay, so it wasn't necessarily the celebration of discovering America. However, it's a celebration of him discovering a new world, which set in motion the progress, the revolution, the what would you say, from the native people, and they set him a whole new way of living.
That's your opinion?
That's what some people say. And I would agree with that. He orchestrated the whole start of that. Now, with the people that say, oh, he was a killer and he was all this and that.
Was he?
He could be a defender.
But did he kill people?
He killed people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But did he kill people in North America?
What
United States of America.
United States of America? No.
No, because Christopher Columbus never set foot anywhere known as the United States of America
That's
today.
true, but it wasn't the United States of America back then.
But back then, what we know as the United States of America today, he never set foot.
Right. I think that we celebrated here. We celebrate the beginning of a new revolution, a new way of life for the people here.
I don't believe that. So I don't think you can celebrate something that was already here, right?
No, he's not. Okay, but that's not it. It's not the discovery of the land that we're celebrating.
Okay, but this was in what year?
1492.
Thank you, Jai Candy. 1492,
No.
Columbus sailed the ocean blue.
Right.
And it's taught in schools,
It's
which
taught
you
in
mentioned
school.
earlier, like he was the one that discovered America. But Christopher Columbus never stepped foot in what we know as the United States of America. So
They didn't say in the United States of America.
No, but it's perceived that way, especially by small school children. You that's what
Actually,
you see.
I think in the last 10 to 15 years, 20, it's been changed to say he discovered a new world.
Why has it been changed?
Because it wasn't the United States of America.
Exactly, because who starts pushing for that stuff? People that say it's wrong. So like when these people are saying that stealing their dances is wrong, they start pushing for it, and then it finally gets changed. So a lot of people started saying, hey, your history books are wrong. Christopher Columbus was never here. You guys got to stop teaching people that. And, slowly but
So
surely
then
they
if you're going
started
to
making
say
a change.
America, you're going to have to redefine that. If he discovered America, because you got North America, South America, these two continents are still America.
Yes.
So he could have.
But that's not the way it was taught, so that's why they had to change it.
Okay.
So I'm sure when you were little, you thought, that's long, almost when Columbus came.
I'm still little.
Well, you still are little. When you were younger,
Okay.
in school, did they have, classrooms with chalkboards and stuff? Are you following me?
They had chalkboards.
Okay, they had chalkboards, right? So
You're going to tell me you didn't have chalkboards?
yeah, but I'm just
Okay.
making sure you guys still. I didn't even know if that was like new technology chalkboards to you guys. So that was like the latest, right? So they had these chalkboards, right?
Yeah, they had these chalkboards. We even had indoor plumbing.
Yeah,
Joto.
and they had they also had these cool things called globes, right? So it's like
Yes.
a big circular thing, and they tell you where you're at on the world, right? Before Google Maps.
I'm glad you paid attention
All
to
right.
that.
So they probably. What did you learn when you grew up in school about Christopher Columbus?
When I grew up, that he discovered America.
Okay, not a new world.
He came to the new world.
That's what they taught you?
Yes, that he came
You
to
are
the
so
new world.
lying. He's lying.
No!
His first answer was that he discovered America.
That's what we were taught, and that he came to the new world.
Yeah, but what did you think?
Where
of him
was
when
he
you were-
going?
What did you think of when you were little? Like he was like this nice guy that was just sailing
No.
on a boat, and you didn't think that?
No.
You thought that he was a murderer and he
No.
killed people,
He's not
and raped women.
No,
and-
I'm going to throw this out there, though. they say he's a murderer, he's a killer, and all this, right? Because of the Indians, that he slaughtered all these Indians. However, if you look back at history, those Indians themselves slaughter each other, the different tribes. So when people came in, they're territorial.
That is absolutely true, right? So people think that like, these Indians were like these happy people and they were
right.
just
They
all
did not get along. No,
tribes
they were
fighting
hardcore
tribes
warriors.
But we don't have days celebrating Indians that were killing other Indians too.
No,
we don't. But why do we have one of a person that did do that?
No.
Yes, we do.
We don't have a day celebrating him killing.
It's still the same person. You can't say, well,
so
he
you're
killed,
saying everything that he
but
did-
he did something good over here by bringing everyone here. So let's celebrate.
Yeah,
that.
why not?
Why would you do that? You can't.
You can't
cherry
convict.
pick it.
So if you're going to say we're celebrating what he did, not the fact that he killed us. We're celebrating the fact that he came to the new world, started a whole new revolution of living.
Why is it called Christopher Columbus Day then?
Because they're saying that they give him credit for bringing people over. He's the one who started the migration of the Europeans, where the other people were
I
here.
thought you said they were Spaniards.
Yeah,
Is it Europeans or
they're
Spaniards?
Spanish. They're over there. They come from over there.
I think you're
For
wrong
bringing
on
the
this one.
Spanish.
So I don't think there should be a Columbus Day, and not because of
should.
what he did to the Indians, which is horrible, but because of
Well,
he
couldn't
never
he be
landed.
defending himself from the Indians?
He could have been, but I'm not saying that's not my
Oh,
reason.
that's
why-
what you just said. What
That's-
he did to the
That's
Indians.
not my reason for why there shouldn't
why
be a
shouldn't
Columbus.
there
There
be?
shouldn't be a Columbus Day because he never set foot in what we know as the United States of America, and that is where we celebrate this holiday. I don't feel we should have that holiday.
Well, we are part of the Americas.
All right,
Are we
you have the
not?
right to be wrong. Go
No,
ahead.
oh, I'm wrong. We're not part of the Americas.
We are, but you're
there's
trying
two
to make it into
continents.
something. It's
There's
not.
two continents. Just because
Do they celebrate it in Mexico?
Wait, let me finish.
Do they celebrate it
Because
in
this
Mexico?
part of the Americas
Do they
choose to
celebrate it in
celebrate it?
Mexico?
Why is that wrong?
Do they
I
celebrate it
don't
in
know.
Canada?
I don't know.
Okay, so then why are you fighting for us to celebrate it here?
No, I'm just saying. Is it wrong because we chose to?
Yeah, that's why I say we shouldn't do it anymore.
No, you said we shouldn't do it because he didn't step foot here.
Yeah, so why are we celebrating it?
Because it's a whole new world.
Okay, that sounds like a Disney song, but
A Disney song.
that will
My
wrap
God.
up today.
Actually, let me give you a little bit of history on how we came to come to the name America.
Well, we could save that for another time, but we will say that we have another podcast coming up with a very special guest.
Oh, this is going to be interesting. So,
very
not
special
only
guest.
did we pay homage to our second podcast,
Yes.
which was crazy,
Kenny, we appreciate
Kenny
you.
Arguello, La Junta. So, I'm going to let you introduce on our next guest.
You'll have to tune in and find out.
Oh, you're going to leave it like that, huh? So, yeah, that one's going to be one for the books. You're going to listen to that one.
Or watch it.
that one. Watch that one. We're going to conclude this episode. Man, we covered the Dakota pipeline. We covered the Koshares and now Christopher Columbus.
And TC is very anti-Native American.
No.
Yeah.
Joe is very opinionated and he watches Fox News.
No, I don't.
He gets his information from there.
No, I don't.
And on that one, thank you very much for watching Adelante Worldwide.
Yeah.